Hello, everyone. Namaste. This is Nihira Joshi, and I welcome you all once again to one of the sessions of Kahani on Live Demi. This one is really special because I'm going to be having a conversation with one of the most brilliant musicians that I have known, Ashwin Srinivasan, somebody I have admired since a long time. I have grown up listening to him. We performed also briefly together years back, but his musicianship is extraordinary. His thought process is out of this world, and we are going to find out about his journey, his musicianship, his thought process, his further plans, and we are just going to talk to him about music. So yeah, are we ready to invite Ashwinji to the session?
Namaste.
Namaste. Namaste.
Namaskar. How are
Welcome
you?
to Live Demi Ashwinji.
Thank you so very
I'm
much.
fine. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. My honor, my privilege.
Can we, one second, can we just have a little bit of, probably you can increase the volume of your mic or a little
Microphone?
bit of,
I,
yeah.
I can get closer. It's the laptop ka mic,
Huh.
so
Okay. Yeah. Perfect. Yes.
it's about as
It's
quiet as I can get here. So yeah.
so first and foremost, it's a privilege to have you
Oh, it's entirely mine. I've
on
already said
my
that.
Kahani. And I mean, you are somebody that I have admired since the beginning of my journey. You're playing, I've seen you play in the studio also, I've seen you play live also, and so I was very excited when Satyajit pitched this
Safed bal
idea of
zyada
having
dikhte hain
you.
kya?
I'm sorry.
You see a lot of white hair here.
No, no, not really. Young forever.
Well,
So you do not need any introduction at all, but just for the sake of formality, he Ashwinji is a flautist, a composer, a producer. He has ventured into everything from classical music to jazz music to fusion music to Bollywood to Marathi films also. You've composed for Marathi films
yes, couple of
and
them.
yes. So, Ashwinji, can we know a little bit about your the beginnings, the roots, and how did you begin, or how did you realize that you wanted to be a musician?
I think it was always in my consciousness
Hmm.
since my mother she was a musician,
Okay.
sitar player in Akashvani, and
Oh.
so I mean, even while I was in the womb, my grandfather used to tell her to practice every day and feed that energy to the child inside. So for me, music really never uh, stood out as another dimension, which now I realize it is. That's how I see it.
Hmm.
Of course, the nitty-gritties of the journey as we speak have been beautifully documented on a couple of other interviews. I'll still say a few bits that I might have missed out there, but music really has never been something that I did not know or I
Yeah.
did not feel, if I can say.
Yes.
And वो माहौल तो घर पे था ही. There was always some kind of music playing, record player or a radio. I remember Binaka Geetmala, Chaya Geet, and all of that. And my mother's brothers are all, I mean, they're all musicians anyway, professional musicians. And
Okay.
so they would introduce me to various kinds of music. So my eldest Mamaji is a very senior Carnatic violinist. He was
Okay.
also with Akashvani Hyderabad. And second mama is a very वो अभी सहज योगी हैं, निर्मला माता जी, दैट ग्रुप. वहाँ
Hmm.
वो वोकल म्यूजिक सिखाते हैं, एंड ही कंपोज, बट ही इज मालिनी ताई स्टूडेंट, one of
Okay.
her most promising students when he was young, joining her.
Okay.
So ख्याल गायकी, वो जो ग्वालियर का जो शैली है उसकी गाने की, And then I think I must have been in fifth or sixth standard. I stopped playing sitar, and then I joined Venkatesh Godkhindi ji to
Ah,
learn
so you
flute.
were playing sitar before that, and then
I
you
started.
started
My
playing.
mother, yeah,
Whoa,
well, because I was about two and a half, three. I think I got a baby sitar,
maybe
and then
interesting.
I must have been in first or second standard. I can't remember.
Hmm.
That was the time I she took me to her guru, N.R. Ramarauji in Bangalore. He said,
Hmm.
"What are you doing with the baby sitar? Come on, take a full fledged, take this one." So उनके कमरे में पूरा चारों तरफ सितार थे. He just said, "Okay, take this one and play for me. Try to reach." I said, "I can't reach the top, part of the note."
Yeah.
He said, "No, no, you play, you will reach." And strangely, I could. I could just stretch my hand out and reach that Tivra Madhyam ka open string is Shuddhama, and the first fret is a Tivra Madhyam from a
Okay.
traditional Sa point of view. तो बच गया वो. एंड ही सेड चलो ठीक है, आई गिव यू सम, तो कामोद, तिलक कामोद, वो रविशंकर जी के जितने सरगम गीत थे वो सारे कुछ,
Hmm.
बिकॉज़ ही वाज़ वन ऑफ रवि जी पंडित जी सीनियर मोस्ट स्टूडेंट्स.
Hmm.
तो इफ यू नो सास्किया राव डिहास,
Hmm.
शुभेंद्र राव एंड सास्किया राव, शुभेंद्र राव जी के पिताजी.
Okay.
तो आई लर्न briefly with him about a couple of years I think, and then पर वो इंटरेस्ट नहीं था. The calluses developed in my fingers and I didn't like it, and
Hmm.
so I wouldn't practice. So फिर कुछ एक हाथ टूट गया था या कुछ तो हुआ था, कहीं चोट लग गई थी, तो आई स्टॉप प्रैक्टिसिंग कंप्लीटली. एंड किसी कारण आई हैड टू गो एंड स्टे विद माय मैटरनल ग्रैंडमदर इन हैदराबाद.
Okay.
तो उनके यहाँ जाने के बाद मेरे नाना जी ने बोला कि ऐसे ये फ्लूट, ये वो बेचने वाला भी ऐसे ही बजाता है. उनके लैंग्वेज में मैं बोलता हूँ, साउथ इंडियन तमिल स्लैंग में, ऐसे पुड़ु पुड़ु ऐसा मत बजाओ. पुड़ु पुड़ु
Ah.
पुड़ु पुड़ु ऐसा मत बजाओ, ये तो वो बेचने वाला भी बजाता है. इफ यू हैव टू प्ले एनी इंस्ट्रूमेंट, यू हैव टू लर्न क्लासिकल म्यूजिक. I
Okay.
said, "Okay, fine. What is there? Big deal."
Hmm.
So that's how I met Guruji Godkhindi ji, and then वहाँ
Okay.
पे प्रवीण भैया थे.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was also in school, but he's quite elder to me. He's about 5 6 years older than me.
Hmm.
तो वो थे, तो उनके साथ मेरी एक फोटो भी है. हम तीनों बैठे हैं, गुरुजी, भैया एंड मी. So वो, those were the days. That one full year of proper training and all that. So coming back, music as such, really, I didn't need to get introduced to.
Yeah.
But yes, the instrument, technique, ragdari, grammar, on one hand, at the same time, simultaneously, my youngest mama, I have three mamas, by the way. He is
Hmm.
series uh, one, series two, series three. आता है ना
Hmm.
वैसे. My youngest mama is a film buff, film music and film buff. तो
Okay.
उनको वो ट्रिविया, वो बिना का गीतमाला में वो क्या पायदान नंबर 1, पायदान नंबर 2, सो ही वुड लिसन टू ऑल दैट. ही वुड कीप ड्रिलिंग दोस थिंग्स टू मी कि ये देखो, ये कल्याण जी आनंद जी का म्यूजिक, दिस इज लक्ष्मीकांत प्यारेलाल, दिस इज सलील चौधरी,
Hmm.
दिस इज नौशाद, दिस इज द वॉइस ऑफ लता मंगेशकर, दिस इज द वॉइस ऑफ आशा भोसले. So I learned to recognize these things very early on.
Hmm.
And there is another side to me, which is my father's side. My father also is a natural musician. He could pick up any instrument, and there you go, Master Nee is here.
Yeah. Rumkini is here. I just. Hi,
So
Rumkini.
yeah. तो वहाँ से फिर उनके म्यूजिकलिटी, हिज टेक्निकल माइंड, ही इज अ मैकेनिकल इंजीनियर. तो ही वुड पिक अप एनी इंस्ट्रूमेंट, लिटरली लाइक ही वुड पिक अप माय मदर सितार. साउंड वैसा नहीं आता था, बट ही कुड स्टार्ट विद एनी नोट एज द सा एंड जस्ट प्ले. ही न्यू द
Oh.
फिजिक्स ऑफ द इंस्ट्रूमेंट. So he could play a melody straight up.
Okay.
Or he was a brilliant chromatica player, mouth organ. He played harmonium,
Oh.
and he sang beautifully. प्लस मेरे पिताजी के साइड से मिमिक्री बहुत फेमस है. हम अगर किसी का जिक्र कर रहे हैं किसी डिस्कशन में कि उन्होंने ऐसा बात किया, सो इफ आई वुड से, मैं उस दिन, हाउ डू आई, व्हाट्स द बेस्ट एग्जांपल विदाउट बीइंग मिसअंडरस्टूड. आई थिंक इफ आई कैन से, मैं एक बार जाकिर भाई से मिला था. तो जाकिर
Huh.
भाई, नमस्ते जाकिर भाई. तो उन्होंने कहा, अरे भैया कैसे हो. तो यू सी हाउ आई एम इमीडिएटली बिकमिंग समथिंग
Observe.
लाइक क्लोज टू
Yes.
दैट. आई वुडंट से उन्होंने मुझे कैसे हो ऐसे पूछा. आई वुड नेवर से इट लाइक दैट. ये हमारे पूरे घर में, खानदान में ऐसा है कि हम
Hmm.
अगर किसी का जिक्र कर रहे हैं किसी बात पे, तो उनकी तरह बात करके बताएंगे, एंड दिस इज नॉट डेलिबरेट.
Ah. So basically, like in grammar, instead of indirect speech, you have
इट्स मिक्स.
inverted commas, and you. So this is how you practice it in
Yeah,
conversation.
I mean, we do it naturally. My entire household, I mean, especially my father's side, we always speak like that. If we are referring to somebody, we suddenly start sounding like them when we are quoting them. एंड
Nice.
इट्स जस्ट नेचुरल एंड एवरीबॉडी इज म्यूजिकल एनीवे। सब लोग सुर में गाने वाले लोग, किसी ने सीखा तो नहीं है, पर
Hmm.
म्यूजिक मतलब टोन डेफ कोई नहीं था। सुर सुर की पहचान, गाते बहुत अच्छा है, उनको पता नहीं कि वो अच्छा गाते हैं, उनको इतना
So
मालूम था कि गाना
basically,
कैसे होता है।
you had, food of all kinds, like
यस
a
यस
multi-cuisine
यस,
menu being fed from all sides to you.
absolutely, and mostly North Indian. That's the other thing.
Huh.
Unfortunate or otherwise, I was not so much exposed
Karnataka.
to Carnatic music or
Huh.
even the music of the South, film music of the South.
Hmm.
Very little, Rajaji or something. Much later, I heard Rajaji, and I was
That's what
like, wow,
actually I was coming to. That was, what about Carnatic music? But you were
not so
introduced
much.
mainly to Hindustani.
Yes.
Okay. And
So that's how it began, and yeah, that's what it is.
so I mean, you've learned from Pandit Venkatesh Gokhandi ji,
Good Hindi.
Pandit Pundalik Shenoy ji, and you're
Yeah.
currently training with Dr. N. Rajam
I
ji.
did train with her for
For a,
some
okay,
time, and obviously फिर उनको, she is also busy, मैं भी busy हो गया, and I do meet her every once in a while. I'm not
okay,
regularly training under her as such.
okay. But I mean,
Talim,
you've Talim, but you've had so many influences, and Rajam ji is known for her Gaiki Ang.
yes,
And I believe that's what your approach is also when you
correct.
play.
Hmm.
So, can you explain to the listeners, because most of the people who have joined and probably who are listening also are students of music, that
Right.
being a flautist or an instrumentist and learning or playing through a gaiki ang,
Hmm.
how does that change or how does that influence you playing the instrument?
There are multiple verticals to my answer, so bear with me. I'll take about 8-10 minutes to explain this. The first
Fine.
vertical is the technical one, which is दो प्रचलित शैलियां हैं, दो ट्रेडिशनल फॉर्म ऑफ ध्रुपद गायकी
Hmm.
इन हिंदुस्तानी शास्त्रीय संगीत, and then the khayal gaiki, which happened much later, like much recently, if I can say about 300-400 years ago,
Hmm.
from the time of Amir Khusro's advent and all that. So khayal gaiki and drupad gaiki. Khayal is an offshoot of drupad, but it became its own beast
Hmm.
as time progressed. It evolved in a very beautiful way. And then there is uh, the existence of classically accepted instruments like the Rudraveena,
Hmm.
which later on morphed into a Surbahar, and then eventually became what we know as the sitar today,
Sitar.
and offshoots of stringed instruments, which were basically sarod,
Hmm.
sitar, all plucked instruments. And then sarangi, which was a folk instrument, was also absorbed into the classical milieu due to certain greats like Ram Narayanji and Sultan Khazab, and these people brought the sarangi into the mainstream classical
Hmm.
form. And sarangi, shehnai, I'm only talking about melody instruments. तबला
Hmm.
तबला पखावज का तो वो हिस्ट्री तो वो एक अलग अपनी जगह है ही। पर ये जो इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स थे, इन्हीं को प्राधान्य मिला शुद्ध शास्त्रीय संगीत के इसमें। ये भी आई एम टॉकिंग जस्ट द लास्ट 100-150 ऑड ईयर्स।
Hmm.
बांसुरी ऑन द अदर हैंड was always a folk instrument,
Hmm.
much as it is one of the oldest instruments humankind knows. After rhythm, after the first manifestation of drum,
Hmm.
मेलेडी इंस्ट्रूमेंट अगर अगर हम सोचें तो किसी सीटी या उसका शेप हुआ होगा शुरुआत में, उसमें से फिर कुछ बजी होगी बांसुरी, बन गया वो उसके बाद।
Hmm.
बांस में छेद गिरा, बहुत सारे लेजेंड्स हैं उसके पीछे। पर बांसुरी को अधिकतर संगत या लोक संगीत में पाया गया है। हिस्टोरिकली वी
Hmm.
ओनली फाउंड इट एज एन accompanying instrument or in the folk music field. That kind of got a very, like, it's still in its nascency even today. I think bansuri is not really a classically accepted instrument, apart from if it is Hari ji playing. उनके पहले पन्ना बाबू जी ने शुरू किया था, as they say. There were a couple of others also, but we don't have documentation of all those musicians.
Hmm.
But Pannalal ji has recorded classical music on bansuri, and that's
Hmm.
the proof of documentation we have right now, historically
Hmm.
speaking. Then there was Pandit Bholanath ji in Banaras, जिनके वंशज हैं, राजेंद्र प्रसन्ना जी, अजय प्रसन्ना, इवन पारसनाथ एंड ऑल दीस
Hmm.
पीपल आर फ्रॉम दैट फैमिली। पंडित भोलानाथ जी के पास हरि जी ने सीखा था बांसुरी शुरुआत में
Okay.
बनारस में। आई थिंक इवन रोनुदा लर्न फ्रॉम पंडित
Hmm.
भोलानाथ जी। And then there was Vijay Raghav ji, then there was Raghunath Seth, Pandit Raghunath Seth. All these people, मैं जी नहीं लगाऊंगा, please don't get me wrong if I miss out saying the G. I truly, truly, truly respect everybody. So these were the people who really brought it slowly to the mainstream, you know, Indian classical. What essentially does bringing to Indian classical mean? You play rag sangeet on an instrument. That is
Yeah.
what it means. Okay. तो अब बांसुरी की लिमिटेशंस बहुत हैं। उसमें
Hmm.
ऑक्टेव शिफ्ट का प्रॉब्लम होता है। उसमें
Okay.
कोमल सुरों को इतना ज़्यादा आसानी से बजाना मुश्किल होता है। हिंदी इज़ ओके और शुड आई कीप इट इन इंग्लिश? इफ यू गाइस वांट टू लीव इट comment on the chat box, I'll know if I should continue on Hindi or English or whatever.
No, I think it's fine as and how
Both
you
are
feel
fine, right?
comfortable. Yes.
Okay. So reference points, certain reference points like Lok Sangeet sounds much better than folk music.
True,
So
absolutely true. So,
so
and
anyway,
some things cannot be translated. They have to be spoken in that
yeah, I'll try my best
expressed
anyway
in
to
that
keep it.
language. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So this is what it means to bring an instrument into a certain style of music. Basically, means you're playing that the core uh, concepts of that form on this instrument, for which there are two requirements. One is the understanding of the musician of the instrument, then for the same musician to understand the form of music also.
hmm,
तो क्लासिकल म्यूजिक की समझ के साथ इंस्ट्रूमेंट को समझ के उसमें
hmm.
इसको ले आना या इसमें उसको ले आना। थैंक यू। एंड सो मनीष कुमार चल रहे, ये मेरा स्टूडेंट है। सो एनीवे, सो मस्ती करता है बहुत। तो उसको करना, उसी चीज को कहते हैं कि हम उस इंस्ट्रूमेंट को इस वी आर ब्रिंगिंग इट इनटू द फॉर्म। The thing with bansuri is initially the form or the way we would make a bansuri had a certain set of limitations that still predominantly exists, but a lot of musicians have brought in changes in the technique and changes on the instrument itself to try and play as much classical music as
Hmm.
possible। ठीक है, तो बांसुरी में आपको केदार जैसे राग प्रचलित नहीं मिलेंगे।
Okay.
Okay, Kedar or anything with a Madhyam Pancham meend
Hmm.
is very difficult to find. Which Godkhindi ji, my Guruji introduced, he saw the recorder. There's an instrument called recorder, Western
Hmm.
classical instrument called recorder, that has a thumb hole.
Yeah.
So he saw that and he said, why not, I add a thumb hole here and I can add another semitone to my octave. Pa dha ni sa re ga
Oh.
ma pa, नहीं तो माँ यहाँ है, पा ऑल क्लोज, ता ता ता, ऐसा वो ऑक्टेव शिफ्ट का जो साउंड था,
Huh.
मध्यम पंचम का मींड मिसिंग था। तो ही इंट्रोड्यूस दैट। देन
Hmm.
देयर वर अदर पीपल हु डिड सम लिटिल फिंगर पे नीचे नीचे के पास मैं दिखाता हूँ, एक सेकंड, जस्ट हैंग ऑन, दैट शुड बी हेल्पफुल। So, for example, this is the traditional, like tradition meaning aajkal, last about 80, 100 years or so,
Huh.
we know the bamboo to have six holes. Carnatic flute is different. Okay. Now, six holes, and then some people introduced a hole on the bottom here. Now, ये इसमें नहीं है, but you
Okay.
could do another semitone here, तीव्र मध्यम. All closed is पंचम. उसके नीचे एक तीव्र मध्यम का किसी ने एक्सपेरिमेंट किया। इस तरफ गुरुजी ने सोचा कि यहाँ पे एक थंब होल हो तो अच्छा हो।
So उन्होंने कस्टमाइज़ किया बेसिकली
हाँ,
फ्लूट
in
को
fact,
टू
Kodkhindi ji is a
वाओ!
self-taught bansuri player. He learned
ओह!
vocal music under Pandit Bhimsen Joshi ji, but he's a self-taught bansuri player. He was attracted to the instrument. He started finding out how to make it. He made all his bansuris himself. He
वाओ!
learned all the technique and कैसे इसको सुर में लाना चाहिए, अच्छा ये ऐसे होता है, too many experimentations, and that's how he came up with this also, the thumb hole, which then
वाओ!
gives you access to half extra note.
हुँ,
And then, dare I say, because I wanted to learn this Gayaki Shaili from
हुँ,
the best we have today with Khayal Gayaki on an instrument, I met Amma ji, whom I call her fondly
हुँ,
Amma ji, Rajam Madam ji. एंड उनको मैंने बताया कि ऐसे-ऐसे मुझे ये आपकी शैली बजानी है। तो शी सेड, "आई डोंट नो द टेक्निक ऑफ बांसुरी, सो आई डोंट नो इफ यू आर
Hmm.
प्लेइंग इट करेक्टली" बिकॉज़ शी इज़, शी केप्ट सेइंग टेक्निक सही होना चाहिए। इफ
Hmm.
यू हैव रॉन्ग टेक्निक देन you will you will grow in a direction which may not be all encompassing. You may not be able to play everything on the
Hmm.
instrument.
Hmm.
Technique अगर सही है तो you'll be able to play everything. So मैंने, I was what, 17 or 18 when I met her. So I said, नहीं
Oh,
नहीं, my Guruji has said my technique is correct, which was
okay.
right, because today I realize that there are lots of positions that you can hold the bansuri. Tradition अभी भी एक fixed technique नहीं आया है अभी तक. Like Panna Babu, if you see his positioning, if you see his pictures, he held the flute like this.
Okay.
Okay, you will see his fingers. Now, इसके आगे मैं जब बताऊंगा तो you will know what the difference. Then there are people who hold all the holes who they place on the tips of the fingertip. This is one way of
Hmm.
playing. But
Hmm.
ये बहुत restrictive है. आप whole
Okay.
notes बजा सकते हैं. जब अगर आपको half note बजाना है, half note में भी तो आता है ना. There are positions on the bansuri which can be played on half notes also. वो
Hmm.
मुश्किल पड़ता है ऐसे holding में. बट इसको इस पोजीशन में बजा के सक्सेसफुली बजाने वाले बहुत लोग हैं, पर वो भी कई सारी जगहों पे अटक जाते हैं, कुछ कुछ फ्रेजेस उनसे बचती नहीं है,
Hmm.
तो देन दे डू समथिंग सिमिलर टू दैट फ्रेज एंड दे मेक इट हैपन. आई मीन इवेंचुअली इट्स म्यूजिक, सो इफ इट्स साउंडिंग गुड, इट्स साउंडिंग गुड, इट्स ब्यूटीफुल. बट व्हाट गुरुजी सेड वाज ही गेव मी दिस होल्डिंग टेक्निक,
Hmm.
of which I've made a YouTube tutorial also. A lot of people have followed that. This technique where you place the index finger top hand. If you are a lefty, your right hand becomes a top hand. Index finger का center part, middle finger का center part, and ring finger का tip, like this. If you're
Hmm.
a lefty, you would hold it like both hands, same system, center tip. And I'm a right-handed musician. Right hand meaning my bansuri goes on the right side.
Hmm.
So I center tip, the same exact formula. Now what this does is it gives me the ability to play anything, any phrase, any kind of mean, any kind of gamak, which
Hmm.
is not restricted due to my finger position. अब
Hmm.
इसे मैं ये नहीं कह सकता कि ये सही है, बट मैं इतना ज़रूर कह सकता हूँ कि मैं बजा के दिखा सकता हूँ। आप कुछ भी गा दीजिए, मैं इसमें बजा के सुना सकता हूँ उसी चीज़ को, वैसे का वैसा, विथ एवरी सिंगल डिटेल इन दैट.
Okay.
सो
But this is too simple for you.
ये तो
And
सीधे-सीधे नोट्स हो गए, ठीक है?
exactly. But
अब आ इसमें कितने कण आ रहे हैं देखिए।
hmm.
सरे
Ah,
सगा
gum up.
समा,
You want gum. Okay.
सुनाइए आप, वही दे रहा है, रे गा मा पा मा गा रे सा।
Hmm.
में सारे जगह
Okay.
समा सपा, ऐसा इतना आ
Okay.
रहा है। ये मेरा सुर है नहीं, पर मैं फिर भी
Ah,
कोशिश कर रहा हूँ।
yeah.
हाँ? ये जो टेक्निक है
Hmm.
ना,
The,
थोड़ी बहुत कर्नाटिक म्यूजिक, कर्नाटिक के टेक्निक से भी इंस्पायर हुई है, पर
okay.
इसमें हिंदुस्तानी बाज, सॉरी एक्सक्यूज मी, जने हुए अटक गया। हिंदुस्तानी बाज जो है, इसमें बजाना, इस पोजीशनिंग से बजाना बहुत ईजी हो जाता है। नाउ वी
Hmm.
आर कमिंग बैक टू गायकी अंग, गायकी शैली.
Yeah.
गायकी माने वो गाय की भैंस की वो वाला गाय नहीं, गायक से जो निकलता है, दिस इज फॉर दोस हु डोंट नो. गायकी माने गायक की शैली.
Hmm.
इसका दूसरा भाग होगा तंतकारी, यानी तंतु वाद्य, स्ट्रिंग इंस्ट्रूमेंट में जो बजता है, जो स्ट्रोक बेस्ड होता है. तो आपको स्ट्रोक बेस्ड प्लेइंग तंत वाद्य की शैली में, माने ध्रुपद शैली भी हो सकता है. आप तंतकारी अंग से ध्रुपद या बजाएं, या ख्याल बजाएं, बट ख्याल तंतकार में बहुत कम बजता है. राजा खानी गत बजती है उसमें, या मसीद खानी
Hmm.
गत बजता है, जो सितार की शैली से आती है.
Hmm.
तो गतें बजती हैं तंतकारी शैली में. ध्रुपद अंग में ध्रुपद के ध्रुव पद बजते हैं, जोड़ झाला बजता है. झाला भी वैसा, इसमें झाला नहीं होता, झाला होता है चिकारी से, इसमें चिकारी है नहीं.
Hmm.
चिकारी हो गया सितार का एक लास्ट के 2 स्ट्रिंग. तो अब
Okay.
ये, हो गया एक, ठीक है। अब इसी चीज को
Hmm.
ये
The
ये जो खटका
basically
लेके जो ले,
the whole spiral binding kind of a
हाँ,
thing
जो खटके,
is what you're talking about.
बल, खटका, मींड, मुर्कियाँ,
Okay.
छोटी-मोटी जो बारीकियाँ जो
Yeah.
गाने में निकलती हैं, जो सीधे-सीधे नोट नहीं होते। जबकि सितारियों ने भी इस चीज़ को जैसे विलायत खान साहब, उन्होंने भी इस चीज़ को गायकी शैली में उसको बाँधा है। बहुत सारी चीज़ें वो
Okay.
मीन्ड और उनको टेक्निक चेंज करके, जो रविशंकर जी बजाते हैं उनकी स्टाइल अलग है। आप सुन के देखिए बारीकी
Hmm.
से, इफ यू रियली लिसन, देन यू विल गेट टू हियर द डिफरेंस। So this most amazing on Bansuri is Hamsadhwani, because Hamsadhwani's notes really are beautifully conducive to play on the Bansuri the way it is tuned.
Hmm.
So all are fully closed notes. There is no ma pa, ga pa, meaned, rarely used,
Hmm.
whereas in the vocal technique you can use it. So it's very,
Hmm.
it's one of the easiest scales to play. ठीक है। सो यस, एंड ऑफ कोर्स हरि जी की हमसतुनी तो सभी ही जानते हैं कि इट्स वन ऑफ द मोस्ट मैजिकल
Yeah.
रिप्रेजेंटेशंस ऑफ हमसतुनी एवर। सो उन्होंने उस चीज को और मतलब बिकॉज ही इट्स हिम, ही हैज टेकन इट टू द नेक्स्ट लेवल। हमसतुनी को, बांसुरी और हमसतुनी को लगभग एक कर दिया उन्होंने।
Hmm.
सो
True.
दैट्स व्हाई इट साउंड्स अमेजिंग ऑन बांसुरी, उर्विश जी
Urvashi.
एंड
Urvish.
उर्विश त्रिवेदी। सो एनीवे, कमिंग बैक, सो जो ख्याल गायकी शैली है, इसमें ख्याल गाना जो सोचता है आदमी, उस चीज को सोच के, गाने में सोच के उस चीज को साज में उतारना है। दैट्स द प्रोसेस। ठीक है, टू आंसर योर क्वेश्चन, आई एम
Exactly.
कमिंग बैक टू दैट क्वेश्चन, आई कीप डाइग्रेसिंग एवरी वंस इन व्हाइल। उस चीज को ले आना और गायक की तरह सोचना। अब गायक
Hmm.
बंधता नहीं है कहीं पे, देयर इज नो, अनलेस इट्स
Hmm.
द रेंज, एंड आपकी अगर इफ योर रियाज इज exemplary, you will
Strongly.
be able
Yeah.
to do like a 2 octave, 3 octave range, and through that you're not thinking अरे यहाँ पे मेरा octave jump हो रहा है, या I don't know ये कोमल नोट is कमजोर, बिकॉज बांसुरी में कोमल नोट
Hmm.
फिक्स की वजह से कि अब ये एक शुद्ध गंधार और एक कोमल
Hmm.
गंधार, कोमल गंधार में मैं इस होल को हाफ क्लोज कर रहा हूं मैं ऐसे, और
Okay.
यहाँ शुद्ध ऋषभ आ गया, शुद्ध ऋषभ कोमल गंधार शुद्ध गंधार, दिस इज द पोजिशन, जस्ट एन एग्जाम्पल। दिस इज द नेचुरल वॉल्यूम, क्योंकि हाफ क्लोज है, वहां पे द एयर फ्लो इज पासिंग थ्रू अ सॉफ्टर सरफेस विच इज माई फिंगर,
Hmm.
whereas on a fully closed note the airflow is passing through a harder surface, so the volume is naturally more than that of a half note।
Hmm.
ठीक है। सो नाउ कोमल नोट से बहुत सारे बांसुरी वादक जो नए सीख रहे हैं घबराते हैं, दे आर स्केर्ड कि
Hmm.
नहीं, आई डोंट नो हाउ टू प्ले कोमल रे, कोमल ध, कोमल ग, कोमल नी, दीज आर द हाफ नोट पोजीशंस, या शुद्ध मध्यम,
Hmm.
बहुत लोगों का शुद्ध मध्यम बेसुरा लगता है,
Hmm.
कई बार लगता है और फिर जाके फिर सेटल होता है। एंड so what happens is when you overcome those limitations, so what I come up with is my natural volume is less, like I don't keep it very low and very, nor I keep it very high, I don't blow it
Hmm.
to the like for full volume, full volume is for
Full. Hmm.
impact। ये ना, अगर मैं ये करूंगा,
Hmm.
इसके इम्पैक्ट के लिए मैं थोड़ा वॉल्यूम बचाता हूँ, तो what that gives me is on a whole note, like a full note, if I hold back my volume and just marginally push volume on the half note, my volume is
Hmm.
pretty much unique, in unison.
Uniform.
Yeah, it's uniform.
Okay.
Sorry. Yeah. So this is how my technique kind of brings in that monotony or in the volume. Then I
Yeah.
play with the volume control from my, as per my will. मुझे अगर loud बजाना है, then I'll play it loudly. If I have to,
So basically, it's not an involuntary action.
it's
It's a conscious decision to play in a certain
yeah,
at a certain volume.
like in
Yeah.
people or like in any other instrument, your
Exactly.
praises cannot be decided by your limitations of expression.
No.
Your expression should be unlimited. you find technique to to execute such expression.
Very,
गले में
very
ये
well
मेरे
said.
गले में कोई
Beautifully
मुर्की
said.
नहीं है, अगर किसी के गले में हाँ, ये अगर नहीं है तो वो कुछ करेगा टेक्निक या चीट करेगा, हाँ करेगा, हाँ हाँ, ये नहीं है मुर्की, रे रे सा नी
Hmm.
सा, अगर ये चाहिए तो। सो मनीष डिस्टर्ब मत कर, सॉरी मनीष। तो नहीं, अच्छा अच्छा बता रहे हो आप, पर मैं डिस्ट्रैक्ट हो रहा हूँ। सो दैट इज द जिस्ट ऑफ व्हाट आई एम ट्राइंग टू से। सो बेसिकली
Yeah.
मैं जब बजाऊंगा तो मैं उसको गाने की तरह सोचता हूँ, गायक की तरह सोचूंगा, उस चीज को फिर गाने की चीज में वैसे का वैसा ढाना मेरा काम है। एंड आई वाज आल्सो वेरी लकी टू बी अकम्पनिंग गुलाम अली खान साहब एंड हरिहरन जी ऑन देयर गजल शोज वेरी अर्ली ऑन।
I was actually going to come to it
या,
that Gaiki Ang means words also.
यस, देयर
So
कम्स,
when you improvise on your khayal,
या,
do you improvise in your mind according to the words?
एब्सोल्युटली,
Is
यस,
yeah.
एब्सोल्युटली।
I was just coming to it. Yeah.
सो व्हेन दे वुड सिंग लाइक हरी जी फॉर एग्जांपल, स्पेशली उनके साथ तो बहुत साल आई
Hmm.
बीन संगतकार विद हिम। So every once in a while, he would just look at me. He would sing something random, and he would just suddenly look at me, and I would
You have to follow
replicate.
or
मैं ऐसे चैलेंज
ah.
करके वैसे का वैसा उसको बजाना, आहा, देन फिर वो आहा करके, फिर वो फिर ही इज ऑल्सो, वो आग लगी है उनको भी, तो मैं और कुछ गाऊंगा। एंड देन इट बिकेम लाइक अ ब्यूटीफुल एक्सचेंज। दे यूज्ड टू बी सेगमेंट्स ऑन द कॉन्सर्ट, वेयर इट वाज अ ब्यूटीफुल एक्सचेंज, वेयर ही वुड प्ले समथिंग and I would repeat it. या अखलाक जी on the harmonium would repeat it. But for me, मेरे लिए पर्सनल चैलेंज ये था कि मैं गाने के करीब जा सकूं। वही सेम नोट्स रिपीट करना तो ठीक है, वो भी अपने आप में चैलेंज है कि यू हैव टू रियली स्कैन व्हाट ही सिंगिंग देन एंड देयर इंस्टेंटली एंड रिपीट द एग्जैक्ट सेम नोट सीक्वेंस। पर उस
Yeah.
चीज को उनकी गायकी के साथ मिला के बजाना, वो मेरे लिए पर्सनल चैलेंज था। ये
Hmm.
भले कोई जाने ना जाने, लेकिन सुनने वाले ये बोलेगा कि बिल्कुल उन्होंने जो गाया वही बजाया इसने, उसको उतना ही समझ में आएगा। पर वी, इन माय केस, आई वुड रियली रियली ट्राई टू एम्युलेट व्हाट ही वाज सिंगिंग। या खान साहब ऑन द अदर हैंड, ही वुड डू
Yeah.
सम कुछ बिडार कुछ करके आते थे, या कुछ आड़े टेढ़े नोट्स लेके वहां से फिर कहीं से उनके पंजाबी अंग की जो पटियाला
Hmm.
जो उनकी शैली है, उसके कुछ मुर्कियां ले आते थे, या कोई कहीं खटके ले लिए, कहीं कोई कुछ ले लिया। देन आई वुड जस्ट इमीडिएट, देन दैट ग्रास्पिंग वाज जस्ट लाइक रियल टाइम चल रहा था मेरा, विदाउट
But I
लेटेंसी।
mean, for this, your Riyaz has to be really strong to be able to do
Yeah,
that on stage right then and there, and to be able to, get into that artist's thought process
thought
and
process, yes.
emulate it.
Yes, I would
So,
go one step beyond. It is not about riyaz at all. It is so much riyaz that you know your instrument like the back of your hand.
ah,
It has to be an extension of yourself. Like in your
yeah,
voice, in your case, when you sing, you know your voice can do a certain something, and you will push it.
yeah,
Every time you sing, you will push a little more just because you know your voice can do it. इतना मेरे push
yeah.
करने से I can do this much also. And that kind of oneness with the instrument will be definitely, that's one of the things. I mean, anybody whom you see who is at a certain standard of I can probably say it with some kind of conviction that when you are playing at a certain standard, you know that you have your instrument in your command. This is
Hmm,
one beyond that. Your instrument needs to be an extension of yourself,
yeah,
where there is, you're not limiting yourself कि मेरे हाथ में ये मुर्की नहीं है, या मेरे हाथ में वो पंचम कट रहा है, या वॉट एवर, ये जो स्टैंडर्ड जो डायलॉग्स जो बच्चे बोलते हैं कि सर मेरे कोमल धैवत नहीं बजता, मैं भैरव नहीं बजाऊंगा,
hmm,
या भैरवी तो कोई बहुत कम लोग अटेम्प्ट भी करते हैं, क्योंकि ऑल द नोट्स आर कोमल इन दैट, ऑल द
Komal,
नोट्स आर हाफ,
yeah,
एक्सेप्ट षडजन पंचम, एवरी अदर नोट इज अ हाफ क्लोज नोट। तो वो कतराते हैं, या दे चेंज द स्केल, दैवत को सा मान लेंगे, या रिलेटिव उनको कम को हाफ नोट्स का इस्तेमाल करना पड़े, या निषाद को सा मान लेंगे जहाँ पे यमन का स्केल में भैरवी बज जाता है।
hmm,
बट देन वो उसमें लिमिटेशन क्या हो रहा है कि आप एक तो सा ढूंढ रहे हो हर बार, अच्छा ये मेरा सा, ये मेरा सा है, यू आर नॉट यूज टू द रेगुलर सा। सेकेंड पॉइंट, यू आर नॉट थिंकिंग भैरवी, यू आर थिंकिंग पॉसिबिलिटीज ऑफ भैरवी इन दिस स्केल।
Kale,
यू आर नॉट थिंकिंग भैरवी एट ऑल। आप कैनवस तो आपने राग का सोचना है ना, यू हैव टू थिंक
hmm,
अबाउट द राग, यू आर नॉट थिंकिंग अबाउट
absolutely.
व्हाट आई कैन डू विद इन दिस, नो। सो दैट्स व्हाट इट इज।
So, I mean, all of this brings me to your flute school, your music
Right.
school that you've started, because you've been educating me and everybody about these details. I mean, there are so many things that I have learned that I was absolutely not aware of while you were
Right.
talking right now.
Mhm.
So, this is based out of Bangalore, flute school. This is it's in Bangalore. You train
It's not
students
yet
over there.
physically present. It's still
Okay,
online,
okay,
and
it's online.
I'm still building it from ground up because I don't have the tech support that I would like to have.
Mhm.
But during COVID, I just taught myself how to build a website. I taught myself what an LMS is. I taught myself
Mm.
a lot of things, and what are the backends? How does e-commerce work? What do you register for? There's just too much I had to.
Okay,
It was a high, very steep learning curve for me because I don't come from a tech background. I'm a commerce student.
yeah.
I was not that computer science wala उसी generation का हूँ पर मैं I just didn't take it up. So I don't understand coding. Now I do, but I can't still code. If I give myself 6 months, अगर कोई मेरा घर चला दे तो I can do that.
Hmm.
But then I taught myself on a different way. There were tools for non-coders to be able to build a website which could really run smoothly, as smoothly as a it is a professional website anyway. I
Yeah.
still have some glitches, but I have one of my students from Gwalior helping me out today. He's a uh, he's a website professional. That's his
Okay.
job. So he offered to help me out with this.
Help out.
So yeah, I mean
So
that's where it
this
is
is
right
the logistic part. And
now.
as for the musical part, I'm certain that all these details, the nitty gritty that you just explained right now, and I'm certain that you actually open the students' minds to a lot of possibilities that they are not aware of, probably, that this is possible. As you said, driving their fear out, or driving their fear away of the Komal notes, probably. And
Yes.
so, what are the different things that you teach about in your school, and how is it
So
that you orient them?
so there are two major challenges. One is the lack of assessment especially when you
Hmm.
have pre-recorded courses. Like with so many other websites, we are on one such amazing efforts by LiveDemi. But the assessment part is where
Hmm.
we fall flat, or we are. It's
True.
a major challenge for us. The other thing is real time feedback.
Hmm.
Okay, these are two things which I need to. I'm going to ignore that. These are two things I need to really overcome. I'm
Hmm.
still working on it. I've found two or three beautiful ways to overcome that, but right now it's still a work in progress. But
Hmm.
until that time, what I think can be needs to be done. Now I will share it as a. This is something that I haven't still spoken about, which is why I don't promote my site so often.
Okay.
I'm waiting for the right time to promote. I believe in Apple's, Apple the company,
Hmm.
uh, system of working. So you
Okay.
basically give a product which is unmatched, basically. And for me, it's not the business side that is so lucrative, so as much as the teaching part of it, which is
Teaching
actually
part of it. Yeah.
strongly made. So anyway,
But
the
anyway,
thing
I think,
is
there is
modular.
a wonderful quote that I
Yeah. I'm losing you. You s- is it you or is it me? I don't know. I think
ah,
my
I
network is okay. Yeah,
the network. So yeah, the quote goes like, you're allowed to be a masterpiece and a work in progress at the same time.
oh yeah.
So yeah, so
Yeah. So what I've come down to is make it modular.
hmm,
Basically, split it into verticals. This also happened. A very prestigious music school actually offered me to become their faculty of Indian music. It didn't work out for varied reasons, but that kind of prompted me to build a proper Bansuri curriculum, an
hmm,
extremely comprehensive curriculum of किस किस्म के what and all are the hurdles that a student can face as a learner of Bansuri.
hmm,
And then later on, when I actually got into making a website, the technical hurdles also, as to there is not enough internet everywhere, there is
Hmm.
language barriers, there are so many other challenges you have to face. So I made a very comprehensive curriculum for Bansuri, split it into verticals like technique, like Riyaz, like theory, and then understanding, and then there is the other side which is non-classical to classical. Ki samajh ke baad, how do you translate this to stage?
Translate all.
There is performance elements, there is miking elements, there is EQing, recording, understanding harmony and reacting to it. If you're playing in a fusion setup, for example, you can't
Exactly.
just say give me sapa and then don't change chords, क्योंकि मुझे
Yeah.
नहीं आता, ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए. You need to be a complete. We are in 2023, for God's sake. We need to understand harmony, even if there is only so much about it, but we need to understand that for us to float beautifully. I will sound better playing to changes, harmonic
Yeah.
changes, than I would sound. I don't want to get caught somewhere where I'm not listening to the harmony. I don't understand it, and it. I can't dilute their music also. So that these are modules. So I'm picking up small
Lovely.
modules. It's still in a very small early stage, but I have massive plans for this. And
Lovely,
over the
lovely.
next
Because
couple of years, going on.
exactly, I have seen you play in a fusion set. I have seen you improvise over jazz standards also,
Yes, yes,
and and with retaining your Indian classical element even over there.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
this is, if you're training your students to, facilitating that process for them and opening that window. I think it's
Right.
phenomenal. इसकी बहुत ज़रूरत है.
Thank you,
Because
thank you.
जो म्यूजिक
Work in
इवॉल्व होता
progress.
रहना चाहिए. So
Work in progress. Yes, yes,
yes, yeah, masterpiece and work in progress together, as they
yes,
say.
exactly.
So yes,
Murkia,
let's come
I'm just going to
to,
quickly read a couple of these comments.
sure, please.
Murkia, I feel sometimes it's easy to play Murkia on instruments than to sing. Acha, I need to give you this analogy. Whoever is asking similar questions, or those who are feeling shy from not asking questions, it is like speaking a language. Okay? Music is a language unto itself. It is like speaking a language. I can just, for example, say, I, Basuri player, I music, love very much, and I've still communicated my thought to you.
Hmm.
Okay? Because I find grammar difficult to understand.
Hmm.
But if I know grammar, I'm able to communicate that thought. I'm able to articulate the thought. It's the
Hmm.
articulation that matters. So, if in this case, the topic is Murkia, but what I'm saying is applicable to any form, in any genre, in any technique, in fact, beyond music. It's like it's a communication.
Hmm.
What are we doing? When I play music, I'm expressing an emotion. So I'm using a set of technique which I call vocabulary. For me, technique is equal to vocabulary. It's my
Hmm.
shabdkosh. Okay? I may not have a vocabulary, but if I have the thought and if I have a basic idea of how to speak the language, I'm able to still emote. In fact, even if I can't speak, I can express,
Non-verbal.
yeah, non-verbal expression also. So music can be done like that. So anything that you feel is difficult, the only answer to that point is practice.
Hmm.
Easier to sing, instrument is easy, singing is difficult. You haven't practiced singing enough, so you are finding it difficult in singing. You ask Nihira if it is easy on bansuri or singing, she will say singing, because she's
Yeah,
not practiced bansuri,
absolutely.
isn't it? That's the only
Absolutely.
answer. That's it. So Urvishdi, I hope I've answered that question. There is one other thing. आपसे कैसे सीखें? मैं personally सिखाता नहीं हूँ. I do teach advanced students. There are 3 or 4 boys who come to me. They are staying in Bangalore and learning in person from me,
Okay.
and but they are very advanced students. They know their rags, they know their basics, they know their techniques, and we talk about philosophy, we talk about how to approach a particular new rag. Abhi beech mein Megh Malhar shuru kiya tha, because I was required to play somewhere, so I started brushing up on my Megh Malhar. It had been a while. Yeah,
Hmm.
yesterday I had this concert where I had playing Mia Malhar.
Yeah, Malhar.
Another one other place we were trying to do Alaya Bilawal. These are rags we don't usually normally play on bansuri.
Okay.
So there is no YouTube tutorial on Thumbhole yet. There could be one which I think I made just as a 10-15 minute explainer, where you need to do those. But the Thumbhole tutorials are not yet prominent yet. It's still under production. I'm still filming those.
Hmm.
That's the other side. I had to learn filming, lighting, editing. post production, every single thing I had to learn, and I do it all myself. So anyway, that's where it was. Did I interrupt you on something?
No, no. You were looking at some comments. I think there is one interesting question over here that तान्स आप गाय के अंग में कैसे बजाते हो? राहुल
Yes.
मुंडल. He has
Mondal.
asked. Yeah.
রাহুল দা কেমন আছেন? আমি ভালো, তুমিও ভালো। तो हाँ सर, मैं बिगिनर नहीं, 5 साल से सीख रहा हूँ। मैं ज़रूर एक दिन आपसे सीखूँ नहीं, उसके पहले कुछ है। सर कैन यू टेल अबाउट डांस जो गाय के अंग में आप बजाते
Yeah.
हैं? सी
Exactly.
या सो लाइक आई सेड अर्लियर, अगर आप इसके पहले के सेगमेंट में नहीं थे तो गाना गायक कैसे सोचेगा? उस तरह से मैं अगर फॉर एग्ज़ाम्पल लेट मी जस्ट कीप दिस तानपुरा ऑन, कहाँ गया वो? सी पंडित आई तबला प्रो। संदीप उपासनी जी, थैंक यू सो मच फॉर व्हाट यू आर डूइंग। सो सफ़ेद 3 की बाँसुरी है। बाँसुरी का स्केल कौन-सा है मत पूछना। If you're watching this on, because a lot of my YouTube videos have this question, कौन से स्केल का बाँसुरी? बाँसुरी का स्केल एक ही होता है। इसी स्केल का बाँसुरी होता है, यमन स्केल का या व्हाटएवर, व्हाट इज इट कॉल्ड, लिडियन आई थिंक। स्केल का नहीं, सुर का। कौन से सुर का बाँसुरी? ये ई सुर का बाँसुरी, बिकॉज आई फॉलो दिस पोजिशन ऑन सा एंड इस पोजिशन में मुझे ई मिलता है। तो ये ई की बाँसुरी है। फॉर एग्जाम्पल लेट्स वेरी सिंपल, यमन ही लेते हैं ना फिर। अगर ये नहीं होता ये होगा, तब ये क्या हाल है? तो दिन दिन ना ना दिन दिन ना, ये क्यों आया ऐसे? मैं ये बजा सकता हूँ, बट अगर मैं गा रहा हूँ मन में, पिया की नजरिया जादू भरी पिया के नजरिया आ, मैं क्या गा रहा हूँ? रे 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 गा 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 रे 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 मा 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 गा 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 मा 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 रे रे गा गा, ये गा रहा हूँ। पर मैं गा रियली मैं अगर इसको क्या कहते हैं, ज़ूम इन करके अगर आप सुनो तो सरे 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 रेगा 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 ये चल रहा है ना, तो मैं हर नोट पे एक एक्स्ट्रा कण बजा रहा हूँ। तो ये एक टेक्निक हो गया। इसको गमक में भी बहुत लोग बजाता है। ये तो गमक हो गया। रे 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 गा गा गा, ये हर नोट पे स्ट्रोक बजा रहा हूँ मैं। तो इसको आ में स्ट्रोक है नहीं है, क्योंकि कोई सिलेबल नहीं है ना, स्वर ही है, अक्षर नहीं है। ये क्या काय म्हणतात त्याला ग?
I'm sorry?
Vowels and consonants. There is no
Vowels and
consonant.
consonant. हाँ.
है ना? तो इसको मैं बल दूंगा। बल माने वजन। गाने के टाइम जो वजन मिलता है,
Push kind.
हाँ, उसको मैं ब्लोइंग से वॉल्यूम बढ़ा के ये कर रहा हूँ। तानपुरा लाउड नहीं है ना?
No, it's fine.
ये तान में मैं ऐसे बजाता हूँ। सिंपली एक्सप्लेनिंग। अब ये अपने आप में 3 साल का आंसर हो सकता है, पर एट दिस पॉइंट यहाँ मैं बता रहा हूँ।
No, but it was very well explained. मुझे भी समझ में आया, like when you differentiated between just straight gamak and abhi. So
तान में,
how
हाँ,
the push was given and
राइट,
वो what was the word that you used? Bal.
बल।
Bal. So many new terms that we are learning because of you.
जी।
So I think you've answered Rahul ji's question
Yes,
perfectly
I
well.
hope so. Hmm.
Yes. Yeah.
तो ऐसे,
So ये सारी चीजें हैं which you are dreaming of incorporating in your school
hopefully it will
curriculum
happen the
so
way it
that,
will happen. Yeah.
yeah,
Hmm.
no, I'm certain it will happen. And
The intention and the message has been put out to the universe. Let the universe conjure its magic. That's what it is.
no, I'm certain it will happen, and lovely students will come out of your school.
Right.
We
ये
are,
देखो प्रसाद उपासनी जी. Yes, I've been
yes.
corrected. Sandeep Ranade and Prasad, both of them. Yes, of course. Yeah.
Yes. Sandeep Ranadeshji's app is also wonderful.
Yeah, I heard that. Yes, नाद साधना वो भी
Natha,
अच्छा
yeah.
है. पर Apple devices में I prefer the
Yeah.
iTabla Pro.
Everybody is using iTabla Pro.
Hmm.
And I did a session with Sandeep ji also once about his app.
Hmm.
Uh, it,
I
yes.
spoke a long. I mean, I had a very long chat with him about a year and a half ago, while planning for my thing also, this modular thing, where I was trying to get a Riaz app going. So right now I'm building on that. Hopefully it
Okay.
will be out early next year. I don't want to speak too soon, but yeah, I'm working on that. So there's another this genius kid from Nashik who's helping me on that. Genius hai wo. He's only 21, 22, but he's just an absolute genius. He built an app when he was 16 or 17, I think,
Hmm.
for the Nashik Kumbh Mela, and he saved a lot of lives there.
Okay.
The app would tell the security people कि कौन सा गेट बंद करना है, कौन से में ज़्यादा भीड़ हो गई है. Because MIT then built him a carpet which would count footsteps, footfalls. So
Okay.
the app would read from those footfalls and tell the security people to divert traffic, human traffic. So yeah, it's incredible. So that boy is trying to work something.
Nice.
Hmm.
That brings me to another dimension of yours. You have been performing a concert by the name of Honestly Yours
Yes.
recently.
Hmm.
So, can you throw some light on that? What is it that you like to perform in your concert? What does it comprise of? Oh,
It
one second.
comprises of definitely comprises of fixing nothing.
Hmm.
So मैं I deliberately avoid even the Fusion album that I recorded because Fusion had this thing about either playing a korvai or a tihai or one of those things
Hmm.
typical to Indian Indo Fusion, what we call.
Yeah.
I stayed away from doing those things. I didn't want to use cliches on that.
Yeah.
In the same way, I don't want to be preparing a very complex tihai. For example, I'm giving you right at the end. With due respects to when it happens that way, that's
Yeah.
also a very beautifully, it's a beautiful way to present a rhythmic composition as such. But I want to keep it as spontaneous as possible. So the
Hmm.
core of Honestly Yours is spontaneity.
True.
So I recently, if I have to say it, this is the best way I can say it. I recently had to write about this to explain for yesterday's thing. I'm going to read it out. I can't find it. One second. So it goes like this: spontaneity and honesty are
Hmm.
two beautiful virtues of personality.
Hmm.
So किसी के चरित्र में spontaneous होना और honest होना माने bare bones, there is nothing to hide, कुछ छुपाना नहीं है,
Hmm.
and there is nothing to uh, बना के नहीं दिखाना है कुछ. It has to be as honest as it can be.
As honest.
These are very beautiful virtues of a personality. अगर किसी में आप इन ये दो चीजें देखते हैं, spontaneity springs humor, it's intelligence, that it requires intelligence to be spontaneous. You have to be spontaneous and creative, or bring something new to it. This is how I see it. Correct me if I'm wrong. One without the other somehow seems contrived or constructed. If
Hmm.
I'm being too honest with you, but if I'm not being spontaneous, which means I'm planning every single piece of honesty,
Hmm.
and it's contrived somewhere it is manufactured.
Hmm.
Okay. The true spirit of Indian classical music is in its honest spontaneity,
Hmm.
because अपना म्यूजिक ही वो है. We have to be spontaneous. It is you're creating on the fly. You're not creating really. You're interpreting on the fly a lot of that,
Hmm.
those ideas, and you're trying to execute it then and there. Yes, the riyaz matters, but the riyaz is only helping you in such spontaneous outcome, flow. Okay? Such form cannot be flawless. So
Hmm.
if you think a choreographed performance should not be flawless.
Yeah.
If you're choreographing something, people like, for example,
Yeah.
ballet dancers, they, every single step is, you have to, oh,
Perfect.
once, it has to be perfect. Yeah. Here we are not looking for perfection. We are looking for a spiritual enrichment. We're
Hmm.
looking for uh, a realism in the artist there. So
Hmm.
any part of that, like, which is why my favorite is Kumar Gandharva.
Hmm.
Much as, you know he's still singing the same rag twice, the same bandish. No two elements is ever repeated. It's he's just calling from thin air. He's pulling it into his imagination. He's just executing it then and there. There is no,
Hmm.
or Bhimsen ji, for example, that one tan can never repeat itself in the same way.
Hmm.
Or Amir Khan Saab, for example, or all of these greats. In fact, I don't know. I mean, I've heard these three vocalists a lot. So I know,
Extensively.
yeah.
Yes.
So that is what it is, and because it is not flawless, it is also very soulful in the experience of receiving such music. Presenting honestly yours, a soulful, uncontrived musical experience. It's not a concert. I wouldn't label it a concert. Yes, technically it is, and that's where it ends. Really, everything else is,
So you express.
we are
You
there.
just express
Yeah,
what you feel in the moment, and that's why it's called honestly
yeah,
yours.
totally.
Lovely. So you play. I'm sorry. There are lots of comments that have come up over here. Shubhra Srivastav is saying such a beautiful thought, spontaneity versus flawless. And there's Richa. Also, Richa is a wonderful
I know
singer.
Richard.
Hi,
I know
Richa.
Richard. Hi, hi, hi.
Yeah. Chinmay is there, and Shubhra is asking me to demonstrate
Yes.
the straight versus bal versus gamak.
Ah,
So from what I have understood, okay, I am confessing that I am not extensively into deeply into classical music as such, but from what I have understood from Ashwinji's explanation, please correct me if I'm wrong. So straight would be maybe
yeah,
this is straight.
yeah.
Then gamak would be with the spiral binding,
Yes.
and bal would be
Yeah.
is
Where
this
where
how it
the
will be?
where the consonants are strong.
Push.
Yeah.
And gamak would be
Gamak is note and bend. So re ga
Okay.
ga ga re ni re ga ga ma ma da da ni ni.
Okay.
This is gamak. This is basically a
Okay.
technique from Sur Bahar. So
Ha.
stroke, note, stroke, and bend. Da 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 da.
Hmm.
So we do the same thing. Note, stroke, and bend. Da 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 da. So you need a
Hmm.
syllable invariably for trying to sing gamak. And gamak is basically also, it can be one way interpreted as a fast meaned but repetitive fast meaned.
Hmm.
That's
Okay.
what it is. Yeah, more like that.
Okay. So, yes,
So that's
this
what.
was my takeaway from your answer. And I hope I have satisfied your doubt, Shubhraji. Of course, Ashwinji also explained it wonderfully. And yeah, so we were speaking about honestly yours.
Right.
And so that comprises of you play classical music, plus you play ghazals and your own
I have to be honest.
compositions as
I have to be
well.
honest here again. The
Yeah.
idea was to only play classical music initially when I started. Uh,
Okay.
but we are in such times where with no disrespect meant to any other form of music, we are in such times where the audience needs to unwind, because classical music can be too heavy for a lot of people. And if we need the crowds
Hmm.
to be there, I would not dumb down classical music, which has been done before. I would keep the depth and intensity of classical music intact, but I would entice my audience by giving them something lighter as part of a second
Relatable.
half. Yeah,
Hmm.
which is, then again, I wouldn't do out and out film songs. I would, even if I pick a film song, I would probably pick like a semi classical Lata Mangeshkar song, or like
Hmm.
a popular ghazal, which is either Ghulam Ali Khan Sahab, Mehdi Hasan Khan Sahab, Hariharan ji, even Jagjit ji
So
also.
this is where your,
Classical,
Gaiki Ang, as you, because
yeah,
if you choose songs
yeah,
sung by singers and you're
right,
interpreting those songs on your flute,
yeah, yeah.
this is where you're bringing in your Gaiki Ang training. So
Yeah, I think so. That's
yeah,
where, I mean, I live and
yeah.
breathe that thing. So I mean, even if I'm thinking it subconsciously, it's probably leading. It's coming in from there only. That thought process. Pranto Chakravarti is a. I think अब डॉक्टर हो चुका है वो. He is also a very good bansuri player from Sylhet, Dhaka, and
Hmm.
he's asking, what are the thoughts that run through your mind when you're unfolding any classical raga?
Hmm.
Exploring your recitals available online, I felt like at some point in every recital you get spiritually connected with some energy and you are just fully there. How do you do it? uh, okay, for this you need to understand the essence of raga music. I Yes, some of my performances somewhere I feel, a few of those I have had that hotline connection somewhere. But Indian classic शास्त्रीय संगीत जिसे हम कहते हैं, that itself is a spiritual pursuit. It was never designed to be a entertainment form.
Hmm.
That it has come to become that is a different point. और उसमें भी ताने और सर्कस और उसी पे ज़्यादा ऑडियंस की तालियां, all of that is what is getting more prominence. And but unfortunate. But anyway, so the spiritual pursuit is what it is all about, classical music. Okay, so spiritual pursuit means it's a very individual form. It is atma sadhana. It is like yoga. Yoga is not something that you display. See, I can do this asana. It's not a it's not a performance art, first of all. Okay, so that it has become, it
Hmm.
has qualities of performance art, because it also has display of skill. It has display of and it's most importantly, a musician, on yesterday I happened to say this, my guruji told me this, is classical musician performing anywhere or playing anywhere, we don't perform, sorry, yeah, English language has a lack of word for that. But when we are playing classical music, when you are singing or playing Indian classical music, you are actually trying to connect through the rag, because it is a rag. It has a set of emotions, it has a set of feelings inherent in the rag. This rag was designed for that. Through the rag,
Hmm.
you're connecting to a spiritual energy, and uh, a single individual, that energy is so powerful that the individual cannot all soak it up. Okay,
Hmm.
so you become a medium, which is why when somebody says I have created this, I feel, no, we can't create anything. We are mediums of such flow of information, such flow of energy, which has to dissipate into other spirits also. That is where an audience comes into the picture, and that audience needs to take that energy without looking at their WhatsApp phone. They also have to invest themselves, as it's their responsibility. That's what I feel. And such flow of energy, so when you say a hotline connection, whatever, spiritual connection, yes, there are moments. It's not always possible. Unlike the great legends, where when they sing, we always feel, they're probably, from the word go, they are just like connected. It feels like it's divine music when we say. Why do you use such expression? Because it feels so. Because it is. And moments are there. I can say that there have been moments, and the thought process would be to chase, to understand a rag in its entirety, and to chase those
Hmm.
emotions inherent in that. हम कहते हैं राग रस, या राग के भाव, उसके अंदर के भाव जो प्रेम रस है, भक्ति रस, वीर रस, whatever you
Shringar.
shringar ras, and all this. So when I'm singing a shankara, I'm not going to be singing about Radhe Krishna.
Hmm.
Shankara is a Veer Raska Rag, and it is
Hmm.
in praise of Lord Shankar, which is Shiva, where the spiritual side is very, very heavy. It's not,
Heavy.
you can romanticize the concept of Shiva. You can't be romantic there.
Hmm.
The rag doesn't lend itself to ये वीर रस का राग है. यहाँ पे सेकंड हाफ क्या उत्तरांग प्रधान राग है ये,
Hmm. Hmm.
है ना. पंचम के ऊपर का ज्यादा एक्सप्लोरेशन होने वाला राग है. सो राग में, सो व्हेन यू अंडरस्टैंड राग फ्रॉम दैट पॉइंट ऑफ, इट्स नॉट जस्ट स्केल. मोस्ट बांसुरी प्लेयर्स से मैं
Hmm.
यमन बजा रहा हूँ, बट दे आर जस्ट प्लेइंग द स्केल ऑफ यमन, बट दे आर नॉट प्लेइंग यमन. आई कैन स्पीक फ्रॉम अ बांसुरी कम्युनिटी पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू. इट्स नॉट जस्ट अ स्केल, यू नो. द राग हैज, उसमें आंदोलन कहाँ हो रहा है, कौन से नोट्स में ज्यादा, एंड किस किस्म का हो रहा है. लाइक कोमल गंधार इन भीमपलासी is very different from a Komal Gandhar in, say, a Darbari or Miyaki Malhar. And that Komal Gandhar can't be played like Bhimpalasi and call it Miya Malhar or Darbari,
Hmm.
you know. So even similar ragas like Asavari and Darbari, for example, same scale,
Hmm.
but they're two different rags altogether. So that then Tranto, that is where it goes. It's a longer answer than I thought it is. Okay, who is this Manas? Oh,
Surprise guest. We want to know if we can introduce a surprise
please,
guest.
please, please.
It's a surprise for me also.
अरे नहीं रे,
So,
क्या रहमान सर वगैरह बोल रहे, अरे
Sharayu.
बाप रे.
Hi,
Hello.
Sharayu.
हाय.
Hi, Neerata. Hello, Ashwinji.
हेलो 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 हेलो. वाओ, अमेजिंग.
Welcome, Sharayu.
वेलकम वेलकम वेलकम.
Thank you.
Lovely to have you. We all know Sharayu is one of the most immensely talented singers that we have. I'm a fan of Sharayu's,
So am I.
Oh my
and
god.
Yes.
I
your
was enjoying
latest
this
song was
conversation
lovely.
so much. Huh?
I enjoyed your latest song, Kinare.
Oh,
Oh.
thank you.
Absolutely.
It's absolutely my honor to be a part of that song. I mean, I enjoyed the entire process so much. And I mean, this was like this not just a conversation, but it was like a master class for me. And
Hmm.
I mean, every time I talk to Ashwin ji, it's kind of like a master class or अभी भी ये
बकबक करने की
conversation में
बहुत आदत
इतना
है मुझे ना.
enjoy कर रही हूँ.
हाँ. Sharayuji
So
is the
So,
winner of Voice of India. Oh, I didn't know that. Oh.
Sharayu has done a lot of playback for Marathi films in the recent times, and plus she's been doing a lot of her own work as well.
I
And
heard her as a classical singer.
yeah.
We were in
yeah,
Jalgaon to meet her 2 years ago, and she was performing, I think, before me the same evening.
hmm,
Yes.
And I just heard some of it. And I said, "अरे ये तो बहुत अच्छा गा रही हैं करके." Then next thing I
hmm,
know, I see one of her posts. She sung for Ajay Atul, and I'm like, "Oh, okay, अच्छा, she's doing this also." So this side to her is very new to me. But yeah, wonderful energy. Shara, you stay, you know,
yeah.
the same way. Wonderful energy. God bless. God bless. She can do anything. Of course, she can do classical like music.
But it's so
So nice
lovely
to have
to
her.
see
Yeah,
you both,
please.
and yeah, I mean, so lovely to see you both here, and I mean, two of my most favorite artists.
Oh, thank
So,
you.
Thank you, Sharayu.
and I've been, I mean,
Sharayu and
a
I did
huge
a
fan of
TV show
Neera
together.
Sahil. I mean, you know how much I admire you, and of course, Ashwinji, who I recently met and got to know. And it's always I mean, when I met him, I thought he was so cool and so much fun to work with, and just a lot of fun to be around. And I learned so much from him every time I
अरे
meet
बाप
him
रे
and
बाप.
talk to him.
Very heavy
But
work.
that brings me to your collaboration, and in
Yes,
general, Ashwinji has been doing a series of original tributes to Panchamda. He composes tunes and makes songs in his style. Arranges also, all the arrangements also belong to, and the song that you made together,
Hmm.
sort of reminded me of course the mood was completely different, but that hum tum gum sum
Yeah,
raat mein,
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
So please, can we know a little about this series of original tributes to Pancham and your song? Kinare.
Okay, it started off with a very special song about 2-3 years ago, and मैं ना बहुत जल्दी छोटी छोटी बातों पे इरिटेट हुआ करता था उस टाइम.
Hmm.
Like for example, an R.D. Burman's birthday coming up, and we hear a lot of covers of R.D. Burman's music. But the way I used to see it at that time at least, was that, acha, this is the tribute to Panchamda, and they would sing a song, say, by Lata ji or Asha ji, and or Kishore Kumar, or whatever the case may be. And the cover was not produced so well. You're not really
Hmm.
honoring the song. It more becomes like, मुझे गाना आता है, ये देखो, मुझे सुनो. And
Hmm.
that's what I got a vibe from there. So I used to feel कि then what am I going to do? If I'm a composer, how do I pay a tribute to R.D. Burman? मैं उनका गाना गा के, मैं सिंगर थोड़ी हूँ. मैं गा तो सकता हूँ, पर
Hmm.
उसमें उससे how am I paying a rich tribute to someone whom I've learned from? He's like my Dronacharya.
Hmm.
Then that's how the idea started. What if he had composed something like this? Then I said,
Hmm.
okay, this uh, whether or not it gets received is a great way to pay tribute as a composer, or as an arranger, as a sound, as a music producer. I would like to replicate his sound in a form which would be like a homage to homage. That's the word, to his legacy. His genius. So then मैंने कहा नहीं यार, मैं cover नहीं बनाऊंगा, and I'm still against doing covers personally, because for me it has to have, if you're doing a cover, then do a cover like Michael Jackson did or Whitney Houston did.
Hmm.
Yes, it's very difficult to muster all the resources and make a video. And I know how difficult it is. All of the musicians and singers who are trying to make covers, I know it's a struggle. But just like how you guys are struggling, there is a bunch of lyricists, there's a bunch of composers and producers who are all struggling to get that little piece of work done, and for them
Hmm.
to showcase their talent also. So if you guys can get together and make some original music, the generations to come will also have something new to listen to. Even if you make such covers, invest yourself to the song more, as much as you would invest yourself in showcasing your talent doing that.
Hmm.
This, I would say, out on a limb, at the cost of sounding sarcastic or whatever, please don't understand that side to me. Please understand where I'm coming from. It will help us grow as musicians. It will help us learn new things. Just a guitar player like ting 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 ting, okay, cover ho gaya. Don't do that. It's easy to do, I understand. It's also cheap, and or not cheap, sorry, it's inexpensive, if I should use the right word.
Hmm.
But if you really are investing so much energy into something, do it in a way which will also benefit yourself first, as from a growth point of view, and also benefit your audience, where they are getting something new to listen to. You don't need a music label to put in that money. If there are so many people who need that break, who need that, and who have, they're extremely talented musicians out there, they need the break, they need the exposure also. So why not come together as a team and make use of each other's needs? It has to be symbiotic, that relationship. लिरिसिस्ट, कितने लिरिसिस्ट हैं जो मुझे भी आए दिन लिखे रहते हैं कि सर मैं लिरिसिस्ट हूँ, मुझ मेरा ये गाना है, आप ये कर लीजिए प्लीज आप, बिकॉज आई नो ही और शी वांट्स a platform to get their work out somewhere, so
Hmm.
that they'll get that notice. इससे कहाँ अब लाखों करोड़ों थोड़ी कमाने वाले हैं, हम नहीं कमा सकते. Even it takes a lot to get to that kind of income stream from your music.
Hmm.
But the least we can do is try and figure out and help uh, 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 each other out, I feel. And to do that, like, uh, so then, coming back to the answer, मीरा जैसा प्राइवेट चैट, अगर मैं ज्यादा बोल रहा हूँ तो मुझे, आई टोल्ड यू दैट डे, मुझे बता देना. But खैर, so then this song, amazing song with Ronkini Gupta happened, यूं भी कभी,
Hmm.
which was beautifully received. वो भी वैसा ही हुआ था 3-4 दिनों के अंदर अंदर की यार ये. I was sorry to say, but I was in the shower and I was just humming something, and हम बेवफा हरगिज न थे, पर
Hmm.
हम वफा कर ना सके. ये तो अच्छा है, चलो इसको कुछ ऐसा कुछ लिखते हैं. तुरंत आया बाहर, आई जस्ट क्विकली पुट ऑन सम क्लोथ्स, गेट केम इनटू माय स्टूडियो, एंड 1 डेढ़ घंटे के अंदर अंदर ट्रैक बन गया. आई कॉल्ड अप रोंकी, आई एम गोइंग टू सेंड यू समथिंग, जस्ट लिसन टू दिस, अच्छा लगे और आप गाना चाहें तो मुझे बताइए. शी वाज लाइक, ओ माय गॉड, दिस आई वुड लाइक टू सिंग दिस राइट नाउ, कब करना है, बोलिए बोलिए बोलिए. मैंने ऐसे 27 को बर्थडे आ रहा है, तो आई वुड लाइक टू रिकॉर्ड दिस. वी वेंट टू एलएम स्टूडियो, आनंद डप्रे वाज देयर. अरे मस्त है, करते हैं, एंड दैट्स हाउ इट हैपेंड. देन आई नेवर थॉट दैट दिस कुड गो ऑन अगेन एवर. पर लेटर ऑन इन 2021, I think, one such composition again came, ऐसे ही आया, वो फ्लूइड में आया
Came
वो.
along, yeah.
हाँ, वो मैंने रफली लिख दिया, यू नो सेम रीजन, मैं किसको जाके बोलूंगा, एंड वेयर इज द मनी, सेम थिंग दैट आई ट्राई टू टेल यू आल्सो. So I said, then a couple of people who wrote also I was not very happy with. So I said, I started writing myself. So I wrote the song. Something was missing poetically, lyrically, something was missing. So I sent it to Vaibhav Joshi.
Hmm.
Dada, I need your feedback on this, critical feedback on this, कि इसको क्या करें. He wrote पहला लाइन रख के मेरा, उसके आगे पूरा गाना उन्होंने लिख दिया.
Oh,
लिख के बोला कि ये गा के मुझे भेजो, and make sure you are able to scan everything correctly with the tempo and everything, and then we'll see. देखो, speak of the Devi.
Ronkini is right here.
हाँ. So anyway, so वो तो पूरा गाना लिख के भेजे मैंने. आई कॉल्ड हिम, आई सेड, दादा वो बजट, बोला नहीं, अच्छा गाना है, आई वुड लाइक टू कंट्रीब्यूट.
Hmm.
और एक नहीं, तुम 5 करो, हम एल्बम करेंगे.
Nice.
तो मैं तो हालत खराब हो गई. एंड ओवर द नेक्स्ट 3-4 डेज उनका 4-5 बार फोन आ चुका है, भाई कुछ आइडिया किया कि नहीं, कुछ नया कंपोज किया कि नहीं, मैं लिख दूंगा, भेज दे मेरे को, भेज दे, ट्यून भेजो. मैंने कहा, दादा इतना फास्ट ना पंचमदा भी पंचमदा जैसा नहीं बना सकते आप. तो 5-6 गाने मत मांगिए. उनके जैसा बनाना है. एक तो वो खुद भी बनाए तो भी शायद 5-6 दिनों में नहीं बना पाए. मैंने कहा, तो फिर ही सेड, नहीं, यू टेक योर टाइम, बट जस्ट अभी मैं फ्लो में हूँ. तो one of those days I was driving to Bombay from Bangalore. तो उस समय फिर ऐसे ही आते-आते, गाते-गाते 4-5 धुनें ऐसी ही बनती चली गई. And every time I would take a break for chai or something, I would just send him that, ये आइडिया कैसा है, ये आइडिया कैसा है. He's like, भाई you're on fire, भाई this is amazing. ऐसा उनका connection. So that's how these 5 songs happened, and out of which this time again we have one song with Ronkini, which is yet to release. And that song that I just spoke about, which he wrote as a first in our series of songs,
Series.
is going to come out on 4th August. Oh, मैंने उसका अपलोड कुछ किया ही नहीं है, तो वो करना है. 4th August को रिलीज है. I'm just saying it's 16 July today. पहले 2-3 गाने जो थे, first song was Ae Zindagi, second was this beautiful song with Mahalakshmi Iyer ji, which also turned out very beautiful. चुपके से रात चले, बहुत अच्छा लिखा है वैभव जी ने. Every subject
heard
he has
that. Beautiful.
beautifully written.
It's
Yeah.
it's lovely.
And इनके साथ जो गाना हुआ किनारे, तो वो भी मैंने खास कुछ ऐसा आइडिया लेके नहीं निकला था. I was more in that same thing, हम तुम गुमसुम वाले जोन में घूमना झूमना. तो मैंने वो that and हम बेवफा के जो कोरस में जो गिबरिश जो आता है ना, वैसा कुछ सोच के निकला था मैं. And it has this flow between 2/4 time signature and 6/8 time signature.
Exactly.
Then he just came in and उन्होंने लिखा कि किनारे पुराने भुला के सब नाव चली, नए गांव चली. हाँ, तो जैसे नदी नंगे पांव चली, ऐसा लिखा खुद. तो मैंने कहा, दादा इसका मतलब क्या है, मैं समझ नहीं पा रहा हूँ. इसे नहीं, यंग लड़की है, अपने जगह छोड़ के साजन के पास जा रही है, ये उसका फ्लो है, आप पढ़ के देखो. मेड सेंस. फिर इन्होंने तो गा ही दिया. मतलब मैं वो भी शी हैड जस्ट कम टू मीट, एंड हम लोग पहली बार मिल रहे थे स्टूडियो में. मैंने कहा, ये गाना सुन के देखो. तो और शी वाज लाइक, थोड़ी सी ना सहमी हुई थी.
थोड़ी नहीं,
ऐसे सहम के एकदम डरी हुई. तो मैंने डर आई वांटेड टू ब्रेक द आइस. सो मैं जोक क्रैक कर रहा हूँ, पता नहीं वो भी जा रहा है कि नहीं. आई नीड टू पुल इट डाउन. मुझे वो डर निकालना है, बिकॉज आई ऑल्सो रेस्पेक्ट her as a musician, and उसको मैं कैसे कैसे व्यक्त कैसे करूं, है ना। हम मतलब बच्चे लड़के होते हैं तो उनके साथ मैं कुछ और कर सकता हूँ, मैं गाली गलौज कर सकता हूँ या कुछ,
हाँ,
आई कैन ब्रेक द आइस विद देम ब्यूटीफुली। विद बच्चियां इट्स कि बहुत संभाल के
संभाल
कदम।
के।
Hmm.
सो देन आई I said, "ये सुन के देखिए, इफ यू फील लाइक सिंगिंग देन यू गिव इट अ शॉट"। सुना उन्होंने, एंड वो रेंज भी था, एंड शी वाज, एंड देन आई माइक पे। तो आनंद डबरे जो एलएम स्टूडियो के इंजीनियर हैं, वो और मैं बहुत घने मित्र हैं, तो घनिष्ठ कहना चाहिए, घनिष्ठ मित्र हैं।
Ganesh.
तो फर्स्ट लाइन शी sang and Anand just looked at me, and we had this moment between him and me, like, तो he said, ये इसको तेरे से भी ज्यादा गाना समझ में आया है ये।
Hmm.
I said, लग तो वैसे रहा है। तो I said, क्या बात है, लेट्स मूव ऑन। एंड आई डोंट नो व्हाट उनको क्या लगा कि यार ये तो लाइन पे लाइन ओके करते जा रहा है, ये मैं ठीक गा रही हूँ कि नहीं गा रही,
Hmm.
कि वो एवरी वर्ड उसका 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 जो प्रेजेंटेशन है, उसको जिस तरीके से रखते हैं शब्द को, वो आई मीन इट वाज जस्ट सच अ ब्यूटीफुल मोमेंट फॉर ऑल ऑफ अस। थैंक यू शरायू।
I was
Lovely.
really nervous, honestly. पर
आई कैन अंडरस्टैंड,
मतलब
बट इतना भी नहीं रे, आई एम जस्ट अ सिंपल गाय, इतना भी नहीं। मतलब कभी कभी मैं थोड़ा सीरियस हो जाता हूँ, बट नाउ यू नो।
yeah,
But the bottom line is the song and the entire series is turning out to be extremely interesting, and we are looking forward to your
very
next
very
release with
interesting. Yes.
आई
Ronkini.
कांट वेट फॉर दैट सॉन्ग विद रोंकिनी जी टू कम आउट। वो बहुत मस्ती वाला गाना है, वो मैंने ही लिख दिया। वैभव दादा लिख,
Wow.
तब तक देन ही बिकेम बिजी आल्सो। दिसंबर जनवरी
Mhm.
का टाइम, वो सीजन टाइम था, तो ही वाज वेरी बिजी भाई। वो अभी मैं ना फ्लो में नहीं हूँ, वो जो एक महीना पहले वो जो फ्लो में थे, वो आ नहीं पा रहा था। तो मैंने कहा दादा मैंने ऐसा कुछ लिखा है, इज दिस ओके? ही सेड या दिस आल्सो साउंड्स गुड, इट्स लाइक इट्स अ नाइस डुएट,
Hmm.
कर दो,
Hmm.
रिकॉर्ड कर दो करके। तो दैट्स हाउ वी रिकॉर्डेड दैट। वो बहुत मस्ती वाला गाना है, इट्स लाइक सामने ये कौन आया टाइप।
Hmm.
Wow.
हाँ, वो बहुत मस्ती वाला गाना है, तो आई कांट वेट फॉर दैट टू कम आउट। रोंकिनी जी, माफी चाहता हूँ, 5 में
I
से
also
5वां
can't wait to
नंबर
listen.
गाना गाया है। हाँ।
Lovely.
बट दैट्स व्हाट इट इज, यस।
Really
चंद्रकांत
getting.
रागों के इंडिविजुअलिटीज के बारे में ना राहुल जी बताना, ऐसा 4-5 मिनट में बताना बहुत मुश्किल है। हर राग का इतना बता सकता हूँ कि एक ग्रामर सेगमेंट होता है राग का, राग को सीखने के समय। उसमें जैसे आप आरोह अवरोह, राग की जाति, ऑर्डव 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 या ऑर्डव
Hmm.
शार्डव संपूर्ण जो भी, फिर आप वादी संवादी, आपको ये चीजें जाननी जरूरी है। उसमें फिर आता है आगे पकड़, राग की पकड़ और राग का चलन। पकड़ मैंने यूट्यूब पे एक बनाया था, रागा बेसिक्स नाम का एक वीडियो है, जिसमें मैंने इस चीज को समझाया। पकड़ इज लाइक किसी की शक्ल होगी, राग का पकड़ वो होता है कि चेहरा, दो चेहरे एक जैसे मिलते नहीं, आइडेंटिकल ट्विंस में भी मिलते नहीं। शारा यू, थैंक यू टेक केयर।
Oh, Shirayu has signed out.
या
Okay. Bye,
एंड
Shirayu. It was lovely to have you.
यस,
Sorry. Yeah,
थैंक
but
यू
she just went off without us getting a chance to say bye to her properly. So
पकड़ और चलन। पकड़ वो होता है, वो फ्रेज होता है जो उसी राग में आएगा, और किसी और राग में वो पकड़ आएगा ही नहीं। जैसे ना, ये गाया तो फिर केदार ही होगा,
hmm.
या ये ना सा ने ने सा, मतलब मल्हार हो गया। या ऐसे हर राग का एक एक जो कैच फ्रेज जिसे हम कहते हैं, तो ये आपको जानना जरूरी है। किसी भी राग को फिर आप समझ सकते हो, ये फॉर्मूला अगर आप अप्लाई करोगे तो। सो या, हाउ कैन आई जॉइन सर्स क्लास? मेरा सर क्लास नहीं है लिम्पन जी, बट आई डू हैव अ साइट which I speak of in my YouTube channel. It's called ashwinflute.com, and we are on Live Dummy. I will hopefully be on Live Dummy also if uh, the opportunity presents itself to come here and share whatever I know. That's all.
That would be lovely. And to come to the towards the end or the concluding questions of our conversation.
Are we done
Uh,
already? Hmm.
uh, no, not really. But you know, you've done everything from composing to playing sessions for
Mm.
other composers. And when you go to play for other composers, what do you prefer, parts being written for you, or you're just given a chord structure and you like to improvise upon that? That was one question that I always had in my mind.
Mm. See, one, yes, definitely, I'd like a part to be composed for me,
Okay.
because I am going into the studio and listening to this song for the first time,
Hmm.
whereas the composer and the arranger have lived that song for maybe weeks on end, maybe even 3-4 days even, मतलब जो जल्दी जल्दी
आपसे
जो
ज्यादा
काम,
समय?
मुझसे ज्यादा समय तो 100% बिताया उसके साथ। वो इंजीनियर जो स्टूडियो में रिकॉर्ड करे, उसने उस गाने को मुझसे ज्यादा सुन लिया है तब तक,
Hmm.
है ना? तो उस गाने का जो रूट इमोशन है, जो कोर, जो वो गाना कहना चाह रहा है, कई बार तो गाने में लिरिक्स होते नहीं हैं, तो कंपोज़र ने पहले ट्यून बना लिया, उस पे ट्रैक भी बना लिया, उसके ऊपर आके लिरिसिस्ट बाद में लिखेगा।
Lyricist.
तो कंपोज़र के ज़हन में उस ट्यून के लिए एक इमोशनल ग्राफ होना चाहिए,
Hmm.
होता है और होना
Hmm.
भी चाहिए। और तो मैं जब उस गाने से जुड़ने जाता हूँ, तो आई वुड रादर ही हैव एन आइडिया, एटलीस्ट लाइक अ स्ट्रक्चर, कि सर यहाँ पे ये जो म्यूजिक वन है, यहाँ पे दिस इज द मूवमेंट आई एम एक्सपेक्टिंग एंड आई नीड यू टू डू इट दिस वे। ये एक मेलोडिक
Hmm.
स्ट्रक्चर हो तो नथिंग लाइक इट, बट आजकल तो composition is actually an open art form. You don't need to
Yeah.
really know music as such to be a composer, or so it seems nowadays. And in their cases, I would rather have an arranger or a producer explain to me what is going on,
Hmm.
or the composer himself telling me कि sir, I'm listening to something like this. He gives me a reference point जहाँ से उन्होंने धुन
Hmm.
उनको प्रेरित हुआ होगा। सो वो मैं चाहूँगा कि वो हो। पर then there is the other side where they would want me to interpret
Hmm.
the song. They would give me like a say a scene sequence, for example, कि सर ये रोमांटिक सॉन्ग है। बहुत सिंपल एग्जांपल देता हूँ मैं। रोमांटिक
Hmm.
सॉन्ग है, लड़का लड़की पहली बार मिल रहे हैं। अब इस म्यूजिक में ये दोनों मनाली में जो बर्फीले पहाड़ों पे नाच रहे हैं। अब इसमें आपको कुछ करना है, ये मेरा ट्रैक है, इसमें ये ग्रूव चल रहा है।
हाँ.
Then I will now have to imagine, then that's where the composer in me will come in. Unfortunately, most musicians are doing that in sessions, but
Hmm.
we don't have it for composers. That's a separate subject altogether,
Hmm.
publishing and copyright and royalty and all that. Anyway, but we go there, चलो relationship है, काम करना है, आज का पैसा मिल रहा है कम से कम, so we go do it. उस समय पे we will think up something, we will try and build a phrase, we will build a piece, and then we will play that for the song. That is pretty much it,
So
actually, in a
both
very.
both ways. There
It
there
is both.
there are
Pretty
times
much.
when you have parts written for you as well, and then there are times when you have to. Because I've also done, background scores as a
Yeah,
singer, and
yeah.
okay, this is the chord structure. ये आलाप है. This is the scene. Sorry, ये scene है. Just
Hmm.
sing something that is, expressing
They're
this
both the
particular
same.
or whatever is
Yeah.
supporting the scene.
Technically, you become the composer
So
of that part, right?
yeah, technically. So, but it's fun. I mean, some I said
Absolutely.
it's
No
a
doubt about that.
challenge
You know,
also that
your creative expression is finding a new ground. You wouldn't have done
exactly.
that if not for that situation. So yeah, that is it's a great way to learn, I think.
Yes, exactly. It led to a lot of growth inside me to be able to compose an alap over a certain chord structure, which was challenging, difficult in the beginning. But you've worked with artists like Anushka Shankar, also Nitin Sawhney, and you're a part of Rahman sir's troupe.
Yeah.
So, can you tell how does collaborating with these artists? How does it enrich you? How does it in how is the interaction like, and uh, what kind of bring music new product that brings out? Uh,
At its core, it's I think it's more learning
hmm.
only. I'm not trying to be humble here for
Oh yes.
the sake of it. At its core, all these people, in fact, I think it's also mutual, because I know Nitin has definitely gone on record saying, there's so much to learn from Ashwin. So nice of him to say that. to begin with, but it's at the core of it. Anything like even this conversation I'm having with you, I'm subconsciously learning a lot. I'm picking up a lot of things. I may not be able to put them in words, but
Words.
I'm learning a lot subconsciously. And
Oh, I'm
uh,
humbled if you feel
no,
you're
no,
learning
seriously,
from.
that isn't that how it has to be really. Like, we it's our
Trade.
life is a journey of learning. And especially when you meet people of such caliber, a collaboration, I wouldn't really call it collaboration, because I've just been there as a session musician or as
Hmm.
a
Hmm.
soloist in the band, or I've really not collaborated. Now that word collaboration again is social media में ना बहुत ऐसे easily use कर लिया जाता
Loosely
है कि
use होता है.
collaborated with AR. No, I have not collaborated. Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan Sahab has collaborated with AR Rahman, not
हाँ.
me. I've
Correct.
been a part of his band.
Part of it too.
I play his music, and I've been in his aura, and or even Lataji for that matter. I've had that blessing to spend all those years around that aura, to pick up so many beautiful intricacies of life itself, of philosophy, of then therein music,
Hmm.
and all of that the enrichment is coming from there, and the humility and and uh, the authority
Hmm.
you learn from them. They have supreme authority over their skill, over their talent, over their work. At the same time, they're so humble towards
Hmm.
that. So the authority comes because it's your responsibility also, as much as it's a blessing, and you have to be, it's your responsibility to be continue to be that medium through which such music is flowing.
Hmm.
So that responsibility is what abets such authority. It's not arrogance, it's not ego, it's not superiority, it is just authority. It's just plain and simple. When a teacher comes to your classroom, you stand up, you wish her, whatever. I'm referring to school times. You have bestowed such authority on such
Hmm.
teacher, and when they say, a 1 plus 1 is 2, you trust them. So they are in a position of responsibility as much as they are in a position of authority. So these are things that you pick up, and when I'm expressing through my medium, I need to assert such authority also while being humble, and need to be receiving that music to
Hmm.
flow through. So it's a very beautiful place to be in, and you learn how to be there from these people, most importantly.
Lovely. So basically, when
Please, one
you
more surprise guest
get one
apparently.
more surprise guest.
I'm enjoying this.
No.
Oh,
Hi,
Master
Ronkini.
Me.
Namaste, namaste.
So lovely to see you, Ronkini.
Yeah, so likewise, a big fan of both of you. So yeah, wanted to just come and say hi. Nothing else. I was aram se listening to both, basically
Chapad
mostly
chapad.
Ashwinji because because he always has his knowledge streaming and flowing through him, and it's nice to hear him always.
It's mostly
Absolutely.
common sense, Baba. For me, I
Mostly
think that's
common
what I
sense, which is pretty uncommon. So yeah.
It's so nice to have you, Ronkini. We were just talking about your forthcoming song with Ashwinji.
yes,
We are waiting for it.
yes, we are waiting for
Yeah,
it.
I'm
Yes.
truly excited about it, and he has some wacky plans with it. I hope he's not going to follow through all of them. But yes, the song has been recorded, and I'm also looking forward to it very much.
Nice.
So I always enjoy Ashwinji's compositions. I call him Barmanda 2.0.
बाप रे. There, that's
2.0
responsibility.
लगाना जरूरी है.
That's हाँ 2.0 आजकल तो वो ई का जमाना है. E, we are in the E.
हाँ, नहीं, but not in the abusive way, not in the overused way,
No, no, I know.
because I think he has like really some degree of intellect required there, not just picking up the soul, but also connecting the dots of,
Hmm.
because R.D. Burman's music was, it was multi-dimensional, right? There are so many facets to it, and Ashwinji has, like, I don't know how much time he has spent studying and assimilating that, and then putting his own like just putting his own magic wand around it to make it something more than that. So yeah, it's amazing.
2.0.
Yeah.
Well, that's a
We're
lot
really
of
looking forward to
responsibility.
your release. And Ronkini is also a part of the Live Demi platform. She conducts various
Yes.
workshops. She has two workshops coming up as well. And
Yeah.
I've
Next
heard
week.
your song. I've heard your earlier song also, You Hi Kabhi. Lovely it was. And it had a bit of conversation also in the beginning, if I'm not mistaken.
It did,
Yes, it
yes,
did.
yes.
अभी इसमें भी वही है मतलब या ज्यादा
ये
मात्रा
सिर्फ
में?
हमारा ही कॉन्वर्जेशन है.
अच्छा.
नहीं, इसमें गाने में ही कॉन्वर्सेशन है. यस,
हाँ,
इट्स सवाल जवाब काइंड ऑफ अ स्पेस व्हिच
पूरा
इज
ही मतलब बहुत मस्ती है इसमें, बहुत मस्ती है इसमें.
बहुत अरसा हो गया है ऐसा
बहुत
गाना सुने
मस्ती
हुए.
है.
तो
बहुत मस्ती है. बहुत किस्म के मतलब इतनी म्यूजिकलिटी है इस गाने में. कमाल का गाना है ये. बहुत कमाल का गाना.
I can't wait
अपने ही
for that.
गाने को बोली जा रही हूँ. प्लीज पार्डन मी फॉर दैट, बट आई गेस like Ashwin ji was right now saying ki humility, it's not about arrogance, it's just the authority with
Yeah,
which you
yeah,
can
yeah.
put something forward, you
Yes,
know. It's amazing, amazing.
totally.
So I'll take leave. I would actually want to hear the two of you, conversing with each other. It's rare to hear such meaningful things.
बाप रे.
I've been enjoying since a long
Yeah,
time, and I have had so many takeaways from this conversation. I cannot even tell you.
yeah.
So
No, I believe you. In fact, I never knew that Praveen Gorkhindi ji was self-taught. He was self-taught.
वेंकटेश गुड़खंडी, वेंकटेश गुड़खंडी जी, प्रवीण जी फादर.
Okay,
Venkatesh Gul. Okay.
okay. His father was self-taught. Okay,
Yeah.
goodness,
मतलब
good Lord.
he was an A grade vocal artist, which
Hmm.
he had not obviously
Hmm.
vocal गाना तो सीखा उन्होंने. He was an
हाँ
A
जी.
grade monthly artist in All India Radio. He was an A grade ड्रामा आर्टिस्ट. ड्रामा आर्टिस्ट होते थे उस जमाने में रेडियो में,
Oh.
जहाँ
हाँ, that's correct.
वॉइस एक्टिंग करना पड़ता था. आप यू वुड
Correct,
डू
correct,
रेडियो
correct,
ड्रामा.
correct.
He was also a top level announcer.
Oh.
Yeah,
My God, he very
So
talented.
much.
yeah, and station director, and I think he was also momentarily station director Delhi also, couple of years. So yeah, he has served All India Radio for a long time and in and various capacities. And it's incredible. His recordings are very rare to find, but whatever is online, you see how different it is from mainstream bansuri playing, and how he
Hmm.
has
Okay.
initiated the process of गायकी शैली. In fact, even he believed that कि
Hmm.
vocal music तो उनके बजाने में आपको किराना घराना दिखाई देगा. भीमसेन जी
Okay.
का जो
Okay.
शैली है वो उनके बजाने में दिखाई देगा, जो बहुत कम बांसुरी में सुनाई देता है. अदरवाइज प्रवीण भाई बजाते हैं, अभी षडज बजा रहा है. तो मेरे अंदर बहुत सारी चीज़ें उनके जो टेक्निक की बहुत सारी, अभी तो
Brain
मेरा
के वजह
मॉर्फ
से.
हुआ है थोड़ा-सा, बाकी और भी इन्फ्लुएंसेस आ रहे हैं.
हाँ.
Hmm.
तो वो बहुत ज़्यादा चीज़ें उसमें से मैंने उठा के फिर ग्रो हुआ है वो. वहाँ वो नहीं होता तो शायद ऐसा नहीं आता. ये या सो
Lovely. Amazing. So you all continue. I'll be the listener.
यस
Thank
जी.
you so much for
Thank
थैंक
you
यू.
for
having
लव
me.
यू.
joining, Ronkini. Thank you so much. It was so
Yes.
nice to see you after a long time.
Same here. Same here. We'll catch up again, Neera.
We'll catch
यस.
up
Bye.
again.
Yes.
बाय बाय.
Bye bye. So I think
या
to sum it up, after doing so many things and you have so many plans for your flute school, and where do you see yourself, or I or is there no plan, or maybe 5 years from now, what space would you like to see yourself in?
uh, I don't know honestly, but I would say this, that these are things that I tell my boys also, that
Hmm.
this is the only life we'll ever know. There is no
Hmm.
rewind, there is no forward, there is no undo, redo, there is no second chances. And if you want to do something, and if there is a true calling uh, from somewhere, I think you should follow that. That's very, very important. Do what your heart tells you to do. That's very, very important, in fact. And I will
I
continue
know.
to do the same. And because this is the only life I will ever know, I would like to live about 5 or 6 of those all at once, which
Ah.
is why, the learning never stops. I would love to make films for once. I want to build this into the flute school itself in a
Actual
at a
physical.
place where it could be accessible to anybody, uh, from any strata of society, and be there, and it's a community actually of other
Hmm.
flute players. I want to build it at a place where everybody can share their knowledge through that. And yeah, I mean, I don't really particularly see myself anywhere. I will see myself mostly in my car because I drive around a lot.
Hmm.
But yeah, wanting to make music, make art, make friends, make I want to eat a lot of kinds of food, so I travel a lot. I eat घाट घाट का पानी जिसे कहते हैं, मुझे सच्ची में पीना है, because it's the different waters that give you uh, the energies from those cultures. उस मिट्टी के
True.
जो ऊर्जाएं हैं, वो आप में जब आती हैं तो शायद something in you changes or grows, and you know क्या कहते हैं उसको, मॉर्स, मॉर्स नहीं, एम का एक और वर्ड है, इट चेंजेस यू फ्रॉम इनसाइड, इट
Hmm.
फॉर इन अ गुड वे, और
Yes.
वो मुझे चाहिए।
So a
तो
well-rounded life full of art.
anything that you can do, you should do. If you want to do it, if you think this is what you need to do, just go and do it. Money doesn't matter. What does लोग क्या कहेंगे, तो definitely it shouldn't matter. If it matters to you, you are in the long place. It should not matter, as long as your intentions are good, it's pure, it's straightforward. I think you should just follow your calling. We are, नेल्सन मंडेला की एक बात है, we are free to be free. We are the only one metamorphosis. Hmm. So we are the only ones who hold ourselves back. कौन रोकता है मुझे? मुझे गाना गाना है, बारिश में जाके भीग के नाचना है, आई वांट टू डू इट, आई विल गो एंड डू इट। आई ओनली डोंट डू इट बिकॉज ये क्या कहेगा, वो मुझे देख रहा है, इसे कुछ होगा, व्हाट विल दे थिंक अबाउट मी, नोबडी केयर्स रियली। सो जस्ट प्लीज गो एंड डू इट, बिकॉज नाउ इज द ओनली टाइम। कल को क्या पता हो, बारिश ना हो, मैं ना हूँ, मुझे नहीं मालूम। आई वांट टू जस्ट गो एंड डू इट राइट नाउ, दैट्स इट।
Wonderful. So, on this note, I would like to thank you, Ashwin ji,
थैंक
for
यू।
being a
यस,
part of Live Demi. I would like to thank Satyajit for bringing you
एब्सोल्युटली।
on board, and because of Kahani, I get to interact with so many brilliant musicians to get to
यस,
know their thought process, and I learned so much in this entire process.
या।
So I'm loving this series, and we are really looking forward to your releases, to the growth of your flute school, and
थैंक यू,
everything. May all your dreams come true.
थैंक यू सो मच। And may all your dreams come true too, which is also my dream, that we both write a song together soon.
Oh, so
That will
so
happen.
looking forward to it. Apna decided hai when I come next to India.
Totally, totally, totally. And much love to
And
everybody here. And
exactly,
take
all
care.
those who joined, Ronkini, Sharayu, Chinmay, there's Gandhar. So many people who made lovely questions also.
Yeah.
And thank you once again, all of you, for making this episode of Kahani so memorable.
Thank you. I'm very glad it happened this way. Thank you.
Yes. Let's all sign off. Bye bye, all of you. Take care. Bye bye.